Right, welcome back yet again. This is an exciting, beautiful day looking outside, but the weather updates tell me that it might be raining a bit later. Hopefully not, but it's looking bright, very sunny actually in the outskirts of Nairobi. So welcome again once more to this bright morning on KUTV Rise today. This is Biashara Tuesday. My name is Richard OKENYE. I am going to be taking you through a morning of business, economics, and politics. So we're having a look at the developments from the world of business, the money markets, the financial markets, and also the world of politics, because the decision makers definitely are affecting how much we are earning or how much we are losing. That's how much important it is that we take care of the politics of the Republic, the business of the Republic. That's our concern here as well. But your business, this is the last Tuesday of the 11th month of the year 2024, which means next time I'm standing in front of you for this particular show, it will be December, few days before the Christmas festivities. Actually, if you look outside, you'll notice that they've started putting up Christmas lights all over. We've seen celebrations coming in as early as now, Christmas carols, people already preparing gifts here and there. So let me know how you are gearing up for the end of the year, and if this year has been satisfactory to you. It's been quite a challenging one on very many sectors in the economy, but personally speaking, how did it look like for you? Financially speaking, business-wise, what are the improvements you've done this year, or what are the step backs which you have been facing? And then we can learn a few lessons here and there. Let me give you a rundown of some of the important developments from last week, definitely showing up in the newspaper review section, where we discuss this further and dive deep into what the next few weeks could look like. Some conversations which we had last week, including university situation across Kenya. Some predictions were made, some reactions were made, and we've seen that since then till now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has now started looking into public universities, currently looking at 18 of them after Moi University was faced by a scandal of corruption involving the Vice-Chancellor and a few of the university officials. Now, EACC is going after 18 more public universities, and the latest of which is Jaramogi Odinga University of Science and Technology, which is on the sides of Nyanza, where now they've found out that there have been corruption cases relating to ghost projects on campus, amounting to 2 billion Kenyan shillings. This is deals which have been made between the Vice-Chancellor, allegedly, and a couple of other university officials. EACC is looking into Moi University to see how much rot goes, and it's affecting standards and the quality of education which is being delivered across universities. These were sentiments which were echoed last week on Tuesday by our guests here. So this is the place to be at if you want to get a look into the important discussions in the Republic before they even get to develop, and then we look at them the next week as a reflection. Since last week, President William Ruto has left 2 of his cabinet secretaries with eggs on their faces, and this is Opiyo Wandayi and Davis Chirchir, who few days after they appeared before Parliament saying that Adani Group has not been involved in any corruption cases of note anywhere in the world. Of course, we know what happened with the United States, of course, leveling charges against Adani and its officials for corruption and for bribery allegations in New York for development of a couple of projects there and at home as well in India. President William Ruto finally cancelled 2 multi-billion deals that Kenya made with the Indian conglomerate Adani Group, and the deals include a 30-year concession to manage Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and 96.68 billion to build power energy projects, that is transmission lines, with KETRACO all across the country. The Business Daily this morning has a very funny headline which is coming out of that very specific conversation or development with Adani, and it reads, Adani terms 637 billion lost in Kenya immaterial. They have termed this loss of the 2 deals as immaterial, yani hawajasikia vibaya sana hivyo. And according to John Mutua, who's given this report, they're saying that Adani has downplayed the impact of Kenya's decision to cancel its contract to build power transmission lines and substation on its forecast earnings. They are saying that this 637.7 billion from the deal is immaterial, and this blow to their revenues means nothing at all, given they're a big conglomerate and they have a lot of business going on. This is just one of those small deals that they were having a look at. So allegations of corruption and whatnot in their procurement processes, including accusations of money laundering, and this backlash from the public in Kenya and all across the world, of course, has been meted on Adani, and their stocks have dropped by as much as 30% a few days after those couple of developments. There's a disconnect between Kenya's economic indicators, even as President William Ruto stood before the nation as he was addressing in Parliament in the State of the Nation address. He mentioned a couple of figures that are supposed to show that Kenya is making a positive stride in terms of economic development. However, there's a very huge disconnect in between the Kenya's economic indicators, be it the reduced inflation from a year's high, 17-month high, to what President William Ruto has termed as an overproduction of milk in the Republic, which is signaling positivity. However, the realities of ordinary citizens do not reflect the same statistics or indicators, despite the growth. And these high food prices and stagnant wages and systemic inefficiencies continue to weigh heavily on everyday Kenyans. Corruption is being termed as one of those issues which are, of course, still keeping us in this loop. Mismanagement and cartels in sectors such as economic improvements. We're discussing this to look at how the gap between policy announcements in government and tangible benefits, and how that gap looks like. When shall we bridge the gap, and how, in which ways can we have inclusive and impactful strategies to ensure there's a turnaround in the country's financial woes? That's going to be the theme of what we will be tabling later in the newspaper review section. Ojong Mariam, as always, helps me break down here on Biashara Tuesday. He joins me. He's a colleague of mine on Monday, Art and Culture Monday. If you watched yesterday's show, he delivered quite a good one. But this morning, he'll be switching gears to discuss the business of the nation and the business of politics, alongside Consolata Wairimu, who is a youth leader. Consolata Wairimu, a youth leader, alongside Ojong Mariam, journalist and also a budding politician. We're going to discuss those developments and, of course, what more you have to say in terms of reactions and predictions into the coming week. So grab yourself a copy of the dailies, the Daily Nation, the Standard, the Business Daily, which I just read the headline there. Let us know how that is looking like. Kenya is dipping actually in terms of ranking for tourism because of those restrictions in visa acquisition for foreigners to come into this republic. There was an announcement by President William Ruto a year or so back that we are now visa free. However, there's an electronic transport authorization that you need to apply for online before you get into Kenya, which has a fee and it varies depending on the country of origin. This has posed a challenge on tourists who are looking to come to Kenya to either invest or even have a good time on vacation. So there are rankings on the Business Daily at the bottom there, which is the second story. We'll be having a look at where we are ranked at. Across Africa, we are actually in the bottom 10, of countries which are visa-friendly for foreigners. So we'll have a look at that as well. So grab yourself a copy of the Business Daily, the Daily Nation, and others as well. Having a discussion, a very interesting one, on antimicrobial awareness this week from the 18th to the 24th, last week that is, from the 18th to the 24th of November. There was an antimicrobial awareness week. So what is this? Kuna wale tumezoea that, you have mosquitoes where you stay at, and you keep wondering why there is a reinfection or there is malaria cases which are reoccurring. How is it that even after using all the measures possible, you're not eradicating or you're not reducing this effects or this transmission of malaria, the virus or bacteria, or in the environment in which you operate in? Why is it that you keep getting reinfections? We'll be having a look at that antimicrobial conversation here this morning, and I'm having this conversation with Omondi Brian Odhiambo from Kenyatta University, Young Farmer Research Club Project Manager. He'll also be sitting alongside Ashire Olomnyak. Ashire Olomnyak. I hope it's Ashire, not Ashaya, but he'll be here to let us know. Ashire Olomnyak, he is the chairperson, Kenyatta University Young Farmer Research Club. So we're having a look at how antimicrobial resistance, this is resistance to antibiotics, the treatment in which you're given to help you fight bacteria, to help you fight virus, to help you fight other infections. How is it that with time you grow resistance to it, and how are these effects looking like? It seems that it's a growing concern that even some of the diseases which we've been able to really work on in eradicating, such as malaria, could eventually spiral out of control because of resistance, including HIV. So how do we deal with that kind of scenario? How bad are the resistance rates across the world? In what ways can health practitioners come together to help us in fighting this? Because your health is important in economic development. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. These young researchers from Kenyatta University are going to be here with me to have a look at that one conversation in which I have hinted to you on antimicrobial resistance, as well as what happened last week in that awareness week and the campaign in which they were conducting. Something else is going on. This is the second day of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And here at KUTV Rise Today, we always, every year, try to remind you to stop violence against women and girls. We helped drive this conversation in the previous years, and this year is unlike any other. We are at the forefront of reminding you from this November, from the 25th, which was yesterday, all the way to December 10th, will be the days marking 16 days of activism against gender violence. There's very scary statistics that have been reported by the United Nations Women, which is that 60% of femicide cases, 60% of femicide cases which are meted against women, obviously, stem from people who are in their family or people they are well aware of, which means people they are related to in one way or another. They have a close relationship, whether friendship or romantic relationship. It means this issue is stemming right from our households, and it's important that we take care of the females who we are related to as gentlemen and as women alike. So this 16 days of activism is going to be driving that conversation in which we ensure that we are addressing which challenges are facing the enactment of the laws, of the policies which are necessary in protecting the women in society. Recently, we've seen so many cases that some of them we've read here on our shows and also on our bulletins. We are trying to ensure there's a reduction of such so that women are participating in the economic development of this nation without fear of their lives or without fear of their livelihoods. Welcome to Biashara Tuesday. These conversations will be boiling through all the way to 10 a.m. So interact with us on social platforms. Give us your reactions. What do you think about the discussions here? What do you think about what our guests will have to say? And of course, we'll be sampling that as we go on. Give a shout out to us, to anyone else who'd like to tune into the show. KUTV Kenya on the live stream, KUTV station on Facebook, on YouTube, KUTV Kenya live on social platforms, KUTV_Kenya. And if you want to tag me, search me at Richard OKENYE. You'll find me there. I'll be looking at that as we go on. What is happening on those roads? What kind of caution can you take? Alternative routes coming to you right about now, and then we will be back with those conversations. As I hinted, this is Biashara Tuesday. Let's have fun. All right, so what's happening on the roads is very important. Current transport and traffic conditions in the city and its environs, coming to you on a real-time basis from MA3 Route, the Motorist Association, Kenya Traffic, as well as Sikika Safety. So I'll be letting you in on some of the updates which are coming from NTSA at the same time, as well as what you need to know in terms of what is out there on the road. So it's information on traffic awareness, but also information on traffic conditions. In Thika Road, it looks okay from town all the way to Thika, and also the same thing from Thika all the way to town. No traffic situation this morning in Globe Roundabout. That's the Duke of Gatanga ametuambia hivyo. Nasema pia the expressway here, all drain water from the expressway is leaking to the lower deck of Westlands Roundabout. In another few years, we'll be looking for funds to redo a problem that we are creating now. So, Kenha and Davis Chirchir, have a look at that and fix that instead of having a look at Adani deals. So the lower deck of the expressway is suffering because there's not good drainage systems on the upper deck KE of transportation, which is the Moja Expressway. So Mombasa Road kunaumia, Wayaki Way kunaumia. That's the information there. Beware, be safe out there. Install dash cams if you want to be safe. Naonyesha video of pedestrians who are faking accidents. So they stop at the front of your bumper and tap on the bonnet, pretend to have been injured, and then that's a case that you have to settle. So you're informed by Duke of Gatanga, DN Kariuki, anasema install dash cams to ensure your safety so that you can also have something to say for your case. There is at the Ruiru footbridge on your way to Thika. Traffic also building up there. That's from Ruiru town. Outer Ring Road accidents alert is informing me that Outer Ring Road is moving smoothly. So if you're coming from the sides of Donholm, that's the information. The Nairobi bound commuter train from Ruiru is also currently snaking its way towards the Nairobi Central Railway Station. So kama umepitwa, ushapitwa, tafuta matatu. From the vantage point at the Dolman interchange, it's moving smoothly on both sides. So kama unaenda Allsops or Dandora roundabout, that's the information there. Road safety and safe driving practices. Wanatuambia be safe. Arriving alive is the most important thing, just as we always say here. Maintain the road rules in the Republic as well as the Traffic Act. That's from Road Safety Kenya. Road Sense Kenya wanatukumbusha kwamba know your role, and also in replying to that dashcam information that it's easy to be unjustly accused for road traffic offenses from staged incidences, so often as part of an attempt to make you cough for some money. Ensure that you're installing a dashcam not just for your vehicle, not just for your car, but also for your motorbike. So if you're a motorbike rider, as well, install a dashcam protecting you against that, and also traffic police officers. That's the information we have from major roads. Outer Ring Road, Mombasa Road, ni complaint za drainage system from up there. Thika Road is looking smooth, and also Outer Ring Road looking smooth. So it seems that watu hawana magari ambayo wametoa nje, bado hawajalipwa. It's the end of the month, bado watu hawajalipwa, so it's safe for you to go out there. No need for alternative routes in the roads that I've mentioned. But if you're outside of Nairobi, na kuna kitu ina develop that you feel is important for us to highlight, please do let us know. These are the weather updates now. It's 18 degrees Celsius as of this morning, as I'm speaking. There is chances of precipitation at 10%, likely to begin raining at around 11 a.m. So if you're going out, just know that the afternoon is going to be rainy in Nairobi and its environs and the areas of central region. Wednesday, rainfall expected also from around 1. It's going to be cloudy from the morning and cold at 18 degrees Celsius, and then that's going to be rainfall in the afternoon. Thursday is going to be cloudy with very little chances of precipitation in the morning, but in the afternoon, repeat. Friday, rainfall from the morning all the way to the evening. Saturday, same case. Sunday, before we get some sunshine next week on Monday. So for the rest of the week, Just as I informed you last week, it's going to be a raining week. Prepare warmly, dress warmly, carry your umbrellas, and then also plan your time well so that the rainfall does not interrupt your movement. And then charge your devices. You never know. Now that we have no Adani, there might be nationwide blackouts, so that we find who else can be given this contract for billions of Kenyan shillings. Anyway, let me take a short break. And then I'll be back with information again once more on what conversations we have prepared for you here on Biashara Tuesday. Interact with us. I'll read your feedback. Don't go far. "16 days of activism against gender-based violence." There are a lot of femicide cases. In 2022, around 48,800 women and girls worldwide were killed by their intimate partners or other family members. I'm getting these statistics from the United Nations Women organizations, who have very important figures for you after conducting research available in at least 161 countries worldwide. 30% of women were aged 15 and older. So this figure alone does not include sexual harassment. We're just speaking of violence, physical violence, global scale of violence against women. An estimated 736 million women, almost 1 in 3, have been subjected to physical or sexual intimate partner violence. And as it said there, 60% of the perpetrators are known, very well known to them or related to them. Now, as Kenya joins the global 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, concerns over rising femicide cases continue to grow. And in a bid to tame the threats, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru called for the establishment of a specialized police unit within the DCI and relevant agencies to address this increasing menace. Let's have a look.
Femicide is not a new phenomenon, but its scale in Kenya is alarming. And as Kenya observes the 16 days of activism, femicide cases continue to rise. On 20th November, President William Ruto reaffirmed the government's commitment to ending femicide by supporting policies to combat the vice, pledging 100 million shillings towards establishing safe homes and launching a safe space campaign to address femicide cases nationwide.
We approach the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The women leaders standing here have agreed to embark on a nationwide awareness campaign to confront this vice head-on. This campaign will have the full support of my administration, and we are committing Kenya shillings 100 million for the Safe Home, Safe Spaces campaign and for the next 16 days of activism.
In order to tame the rising cases of femicide, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru called for the formation of a special police unit within the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, and other relevant agencies. Speaking at St. Mary's ACK Church in Gishugu Sub-County, Waiguru said the agencies will deal with the rising cases.
The issue of femicide should have a special unit within the existing institutional structures, be it at the DCI, be it in the investigative agencies, because of the nature, especially when it's amongst the young people.
The governor described femicide as the most extreme violence against women and stressed the need for a long-time solution, terming the widespread report of such killings across the country shocking.
I think this issue has a lot more to do than just what meets the eye, and a comprehensive assessment of what is going on in our society needs to be checked. We need to look at the drug usage amongst the young people. We need to look at the issues that are affecting people and anger management in the society.
While femicide cases have existed, 2024 saw a surge, igniting public outrage. In response, President William Ruto assigned Deputy President Kithure Kindiki to lead multi-sectoral discussions and recommend effective affirmative actions within 6 months to address the growing crisis. Watching Cynthia for KU TV News.
All right, so Kenya is joining the rest of the world in marking these 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and women are the most affected. The statistics which you need to be keeping tabs on can be found on unwomen.org, where they're giving you, including the risk factors of violence against women, the places in which you can get to see where it manifests at the most, the areas which have been least looked at and received help, and also the in 2023, which was just last year, around 51,100 women and girls worldwide were killed by their intimate partners or other family members. This means that on average, 140 women or girls are killed every day by someone in their own family, someone they know or someone in their own family. And being a journalist, I did go and pick a few statistics for journalists as well. A global survey has revealed that 73% of women journalists have experienced online violence. 20% they have been abused offline. 20% have said they've been attacked or abused offline in connection with online violence that they had experienced. So this is manifesting not only in our physical spaces, but also with the advancement of digital technology. We are this manifesting in our social media spaces, whether through harassment, through revenge pornography, or even bullying outside. This has been highlighted also in this research, which I'm mentioning. Women organizations. Lucky enough, this morning we'll be sitting down with a youth leader who's also a lady, Consolata Werimu. I'll be getting to hear from her as well in these spaces of leadership, how this can be solved, what kind of frameworks and strategies need to be put in place to ensure the protection of women and girls against violence as we mark this 16 days. This is the second day, so count for yourself from the November 25th all the way to December 10th. We'll be marking those 16 days. What are you doing in your own capacity to defend those around you against gender-based violence? What are you doing in your capacity to spread awareness of how bad this situation is like? Femicide cases going on the rise. We saw demonstrations earlier on in the year, a march by women and others, of course, who are concerned, the larger public, of course, and we've seen other protests as well this month, or demonstrations and walks towards the same cause. We're expecting more in the next few days, and this is a place to keep it locked for more of these conversations. I'm sure this is going to show up next week on Art and Culture Monday, and also in our subsequent bulletins and coverages on KUTV. So keep tabs on social platforms. This is a discussion that will be continuing even past Biashara Tuesday. When I'm coming back, I speak about the resistance that some of bacteria in our bodies and viruses have been able to develop against the medicine which we have created against the very same bacteria. In 1928, actually, there's a very interesting history of how we came into antibacteria, or what we are commonly known as antibiotics. So, in 1928, a very famous scientist by the name of Alexander Fleming was, doing something in his laboratory, and then a piece of mold grew in that plate where he was conducting an experiment on a certain bacteria. He realized that the mold that had grown next to this bacteria had actually effectively killed that bacteria, and this is how a few years later they came to the development of some of the greatest medical advances in the 20th century in the name of penicillin and others, which have been able to help in treatment of illnesses such as pneumonia, tuberculosis, HIV, and have vastly reduced some of those issues related to routine surgeries. They had to conduct surgeries if you had a headache or if you had a stomachache. They had to tear you open to have a look at what kind of bacteria you have infecting you. But now you just swallow a few pills and then you're good to go. However, there's a problem that now the bacteria in our body and the viruses are developing a certain resistance. And this resistance is doing back or undoing the work that has been done for years. So now we have to develop new medicine against this new resistance by bacteria against medicine. So how are they doing this, and what kind of awareness should we have? What are the effects of this antimicrobial resistance? What kind of health effects does it manifest across the world? And what can we do collectively to help us in reducing this burden of antimicrobial resistance developed by our very own bodies against the disease or against the medicine which is supposed to be helping this be eradicated? Last week was when they marked the World Antibiotic Awareness Week. This day, on Biashara Tuesday, I have over Olomnyak, who is the chairperson of Kenyatta University Young Farmer Research Club. He's here alongside Omondi, Brian Odhiambo, Kenyatta University, as well, Young Farmer Research Club Project Manager. Let's have that discussion just after this short break. Don't go too far. This is Biashara Tuesday.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Badala ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili.
Bila uoga, watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi. Hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa OKENYE James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
They find it quite strange talking to you.
You should just make schools integrated,
Inclusive setups.
by providing the right facilities.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka, akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake, ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke, akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimweli.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
The folks are going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa siko kufuko. Pepopa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaweza kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta
yanayokukumba. Tuna maizi, tunakutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline Kimweli.
Where we ask the coolest questions in science. Let's go! Is yogurt really just rotten milk? Why do humans need sharks to survive? How did a 12-year-old boy from Africa invent modern vanilla farming? How do you deliver medicine to a chimpanzee? Can poop be useful? How can you save the planet by reducing air pollution? To help us answer these questions, we are inviting some wonderful guests from the world of science. They will enlighten you, make you hungry for knowledge, oxygenate your brain, and make your ideas flow. This is Engine Season 3. Let's go! Ango ndiye
Yesu Bwana, wote waingie kwake. Lango, 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 hili lango li wazi. I am right here for your sake. Now, today we are going to talk about the beginning of a fall. But not just a fall, it is a fall never to recover. If you spend your time sleeping, na tumesema while you are drunk, your senses are sleeping. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. How are you doing today? I'm well in the Lord. I hope you are well in the Lord. First of all, I'd like to thank our Father in heaven. They say broken things can't be fixed, right? But that's a lie. Genesis chapter 3 verses 8. That evening they heard the Lord God walking in the garden, and they hid from him among the trees. But the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whomever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." Catch me right here only on KUTV every single Sunday.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
All right, Biashara Tuesday is back on air. If you're tuning in, we are glad that you created time for us. This morning it's 8:12, so we are switching gears from just me talking. I know you're tired of me, sorry. We are getting guests to help me dilute that monotonous Richard OKENYE voice so that we get others to also voice in onto the important discussions of this republic. One of those is your health, and we're having a look at it in a short while, but let me give a shout out to a few people here. Ojong Mariam, who's coming through to the show in a few, anasema good morning, tuko live kila kona ya nchi. Kwa hivyo ukiwa kona ya nchi ambayo uko, tuambie ni kona gani na umetune in, unasikia vipi. I see Boniface Odhiambo, who is our programs controller here at KUTV, also anasema ako ndani kuliko adani, who are outside now. Yeah, so thank you for switching into the show. Leon Day also tuning in from Ngong Road. Ana watch show akiwa Ngong Road, ameingia kazini, watching the show alongside opening of work. Robert Chege watching us from Roysambu as well. Asante sana Robert, watching us from Roysambu, but he's heading to the University of Nairobi. Say hi to the people of UON. Fish Town, all the way from Baltimore in the United States, watching us. Asante sana, keeping in to the show since he was in the City of Angels in Kahawa Wendani, all the way to Baltimore. Amesema hii link hatawahi ipoteza hata mara moja. Great show as always. Big up jamaa wa stone throw away from Karen and the entire crew. This is a jab from yesterday. Yes, kama unaishi Kiambu, you can say you live in Lower Runda because it's the apple does not fall far away from the tree. So if you live in Kabete, Karen is just a stone throw away. So if you live in Kabete, just like me, you can say, unaishi hapo Lower Karen ama South Karen, mambo kama hayo. Paul Muinde tuning in from Kiambu. Unaona kama huyu Paul Muinde, it's not Kiambu, it's Lower Runda. So tuning in from Lower Runda, show iko sawa. Asante sana for the feedback that you're sending to us. Let's keep those feedback, comment coming. Give a shout out. We'll read more of those on Twitter, on Facebook, on the live stream on YouTube as well. But I've received photos here from my producer and director, Ran Ngure, which shows members of Kenyatta University fraternity at large, first of all, and then also people from the Young Farmer Research Club doing a walk. It was November 18th to November 24th. I think the pictures are also streaming on your screen. So you can see those activities which went down during the World Antibiotic Awareness Week. That was last week, culminated weekendi. Just pointed a finger of accusation to them. Nikiuliza kwa nini hatukuwa wakati sherehe kufanyika, lakini wameniambia kidogo tu watatuelezea kwenye show hii. Wataka kila kitu imarinate vizuri so that they can bring a wholesome conversation. So happy to host two of those gentlemen from the Young Farmer Research Club here at Kenyatta University. I'm going to allow them because I've already hyped them enough. Let them hype themselves and then we get into the conversation. An introduction all the way from my far right, and then we can proceed this way and get into the important discussion, which is antimicrobial resistance. Yeah. So what is it, and how can we help ourselves against the effects of that? Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's have an introduction.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. My name is Brian Omondi. I'm a student here at Kenyatta University taking pharmacy and alternative medicine. Yeah, so today I'm here representing two organizations. That is KUIPRC, Kenyatta University Young Farmer Research Club here in KU. And then I'm standing in also for Solving Resistance, that is an organization in University of Nairobi, working in close association with the NUPSA to help mitigate the spread of AMR. Thank you.
Right. Young farmer, and by young farmer we mean young pharmacists, right?
Yeah.
So sidhani ni wakulima. So this mashanga wakulima wamepiga luku.
Young farmer ya PH.
Young farmer ya PH. Young farmer, short for pharmacist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Next gentleman.
Thank you so much, Richard. My name is Ashime Olomnyaki Emmanuel. I am a pharmacy student in Kenyatta University. I serve as the chairperson of the Kenyatta University Young Farmer Research Club, and I'm just happy to have you hosting us on this show to create awareness on antimicrobial resistance. So it's a great opportunity, and I'm excited.
Excited to have you guys here as well. Thank you very much for creating time and for the activities of last week, which we have been able to, give a bit of FOMO to those who missed out. Images which you can still see on the screen. What happened during the Antimicrobial Awareness Week happened at Kenyatta University. Maybe you let us in a bit there on Olomnyak, on what happened last week, the events of last week. How did that go down, and what is the outcome of it?
Thank you so much. So we had a very successful World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, which was marked from 18th to 24th November. And tulimaliza shughuli on Sunday, that is just a few days ago. So starting from Monday last week, we had a few webinar sessions. We conducted them via Zoom in association with the Tanzania Pharmacy Students Association and the Makerere University Pharmacy Students Association, together with NUPSA and Solving Resistance. Also, we had the Veterinary Medicine Students Association from the University of Nairobi. And all these we did in conjunction with KUIPRC. So on Monday, we had a webinar, and on Tuesday, we had a Twitter session. And then on Wednesday, we had a champions training. That is for the people who got dispatched on Friday to go and educate the public about antimicrobial resistance. So Thursday, we took a break. And then on Friday, we did the actual walk, which started from the Kenyatta National Hospital through Toy and Kenyatta Markets. And then we ended at the Kenya Medical Training College. Yeah, so it was a very successful event, and I think we made a very big impact to society and contributed positively to the use of our antimicrobials.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Auntie, the use of our aunt, I've been really struggling with
yeah.
I'm sure I'd fail orals at.
Yeah, it's understandable. It's understandable. Very medical terms.
Right. Antimicrobial resistance. Omondi Brian.
Yes.
Welcome to the show once more.
Thank you.
AMR, antimicrobial resistance, is now being considered a global health threat. Why is that so? And before we get even to why that's considered a global health threat, what exactly is this word which I'm struggling to pronounce, and I'm sure people at home pia wanashanga leo Biashara Tuesday antimicrobial ni gani tena?
Yes. So antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance. This is where the normal microorganisms that include bacteria, the viruses, the fungi, the parasites now decide to fail to respond to the medications we have, making them making them difficult to treat, and the treatment becomes expensive. They also lead to prolongation of hospital stays. Now we are using a lot of new drugs which are very expensive to try to treat some of these organisms, because the normal drugs that we have now cannot be used to treat them.
Okay, they're taking it as lunch.
Yeah.
Popping antibiotic, the bacteria says, a scrumptious meal has arrived. Resistance, that's how it looks like. So we need to create
awareness.
New medicine.
We need to create new medicine to help us combat this resistance. And if you look at in Kenya, around less than 50% of the Kenyan population are actually aware of the effects of this AMR. So this is something that we need to take part in creating awareness and educating the public.
All right.
So
when you're saying the effects, how do this look like, the effects of this kind of resistance?
So maybe on that I'll just give a brief statistic example. If you look at in Kenya, WHO documents that around 1,500 new cases of multi-drug resistant TB develop each year. So we detect 1,500 cases of multi-drug resistant TB. When I say multi-drug resistance, I mean you have TB and the normal drugs zenye huwa tunatumia kutreat, they are not functioning. Hazikusaidii. And then if you also look at UTIs, right now around 70% of UTIs caused by E. coli, they are now resistant to medication.
Wow.
And it goes all the way to even causing death. In 2019, WHO documented that around 1.27 million deaths occurred worldwide due to AMR. So this is a great challenge that we need to take part to educate the public.
Right. I was having a look at this, Emmanuel, and I saw the word superbugs. Are they UTIs and whatnot? The superbugs?
No. Superbugs. So superbugs are bacteria that have mutated and developed resistance against so many forms of drugs, and they cannot be actually treated. An example of the superbug is MRSA. That is a very technical medical term. It's methicillin resistant staphylococcus aureus.
Wow.
And
the furniture almost floated here. It's a spell.
Yes. We also have CRE, which is carbapenem resistant enterobacteria. But these things actually don't respond to bacteria and to treatment by using drugs. So it's a very big challenge, and superbugs need to be addressed. Because if they end up spreading, tutakuwa na a very big challenge as the medical professionals, and also the public will suffer. Yes.
So for it to be a superbug, it means it's completely refused.
For it to be a superbug, haiwezi wezekana ikatibiwa. So yes.
Was COVID-19 a superbug?
No, not really.
Not really. That does respond. Which was going to be my next question, because they said COVID-19 moved from bats to human beings.
Yes.
Someone ate something in Wuhan, China, or something happened in a lab, whichever happened. Can this move from animals to human beings?
Yes. Actually, we go back to food chains very many times when it comes to transmission of many diseases. And one example ni antimicrobial resistance. So tukienda back to the food chain, we get that tunaweza we can actually contract antimicrobial resistance from animals.
Okay.
Mtu akikula chakula ambayo iko na the antimicrobial resistant bacteria anaweza end up kuwa na antimicrobial resistance.
Okay.
Yeah. And even ukiwa na your pets pale nyumbani, they can actually transmit antimicrobial resistance to you. Kwa hivyo tunafaa keep clean pia, and hii ina bring one health approach.
Okay.
Kwa sababu both humans and animals are involved in antimicrobial resistance.
Well, so I understand that now awareness is not just about how to treat this resistance, also to prevent us from, getting to that level. Where you now have that AMR, and it's difficult for you to get the treatment.
Maybe can I add something on COVID-19 still?
Yes.
Yeah, it's important also to mention that the virus that caused COVID-19, that virus is a common virus, and it has been there for a very long time. Now the specific strain that caused COVID-19, now that's the one that was introduced. But that virus, it's the same virus that causes common cold. Yeah, yani kitu yenye mikwanga. Yeah, it was SARS-CoV.
Strain is strong.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So when we say that, the bacteria has become resistant, now that you've picked it up, let me throw this to you. When we say the bacteria has become resistant, right, so which means imekata kutibika, you take your antibiotics, your antiviral treatment, it's lunch for it, right? That paints a very scary scenario for me. Does it mean that it's over if I get to a point where I've contracted, I have AMR now, medicine will not respond to me? Does it mean it's the end of the road for me, or how does it look like?
So I think it's not the end of the road. Because there's development of new technologies. For example, recently we've been utilizing nanotechnology in treatment, and also bacteriophages in treating resistant strain. So when I say bacteriophages, these are viruses that affect bacteria specifically. So if you have the resistant strain of bacteria, now we can introduce a virus in the body that is selective to that bacteria. So that will help with the treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
And hopefully the new virus does not also become
problematic.
That doesn't happen though, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a level of research that goes into it before, of course, being suggested as treatment. One health approach. You just mentioned one health approach. Could you maybe expand a bit onto that and how this ties into this message on AMR?
Okay, so one health approach basically is interdisciplinary collaboration between different sectors of the society to come together and help mitigate the spread of AMR. So this includes effort from the human beings, the agricultural sector, environment sector. Yeah, so if we come in collaboration and try to prevent the spread, we'll actually win this war.
Okay.
So for example, when I speak of humans, we need to try to reduce the misuse and overuse of antibiotics.
Okay.
So for example, a common example is when you have common cold, most of the population usually use amoxicillin. And this is a drug that is used to treat viral infection, bacterial infection. And common cold is caused by a viral infection. Now, if you look at that scenario, you are actually misusing that antibiotic. And also another example is maybe you unasikia tumbo inakuuma, and then you go for metronidazole, which is flagyl. You are not tested, you don't know what you have, and you're just using it. So
over
that
the
is
counter.
Over the counter medication, unregulated over the counter medication.
Okay.
That is one of the ways that contribute to the spread of AMR. So humans can help by reducing the misuse and overuse of antibiotics to contribute to this one health approach. Now, when you talk about the environment, we can have people managing their waste well. So for example, pharmaceutical companies, they can dump waste that are full of antibiotics to our water systems, and this water system can also get their way through recycling to humans. And you see that is one way that inaendeleza the spread of these antibiotics.
Right.
So when pharmaceutical companies come also and contribute by waste management, they manage their waste well. When you look at the agricultural sector, the farmers use antibiotics as growth promoters. Yeah, they give their animals antibiotic so that they can improve their yields. Yeah, so there also they can do that by stopping that or using probiotics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or there's probiotics.
Yeah, there's probiotic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we get to probiotics, I just had something there just to make sure I got it correct. The overuse and misuse of antibiotics. So misuse, I understand, which means you get medication for umesikia ka headache, and then I get whatever. You just prescribe it for yourself because of what you think the history of treatment looks like, or what you've heard from someone. Nipatie ni nini tulize tumbo. That is misuse. The overuse, I understand, is overindulging in the antibiotics. So kila saka kichwa una pop something.
Exactly.
Una pop something. Does this mean that I'm treating the bacteria to a point that iko like kama ile ya shule unapigwa hadi sasa
yeah, true.
Is that the same case?
Yeah, it's the same case.
Okay.
When you overuse antibiotics, easy bacteria, they have mechanisms by which these drugs zinaweza function to these bacteria. Now when you overuse these antibiotics, now those mechanisms start failing.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay, I see.
Yeah, so for example, the bacteria usually engulfs the drug, and then the drug ishaingia kwa bacteria, sasa hii drug inaweza affect the bacteria. Now if you overuse, the bacteria can decide to have efflux pumps. Sasa ina pump out the drug.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
so the drug will not function.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Very interesting. Things which I didn't get to know in high school. Nilikuwa nasoma parts of an insect.
Ulikuwa unachora udede.
This is the day that the Lord has made. All right, so we have been also throwing a couple of scientific words. So my main work here as well is to regulate our use of scientific terms and also try and make people understand the terms that we are using. So we've mentioned antibiotic, antiviral, antimicrobial or bio, kizungu ni ameli, antimicrobial. Let's help us, Emmanuel, to put these things into a structure where someone can understand. Antibiotic ni gani hizo? Amerusha tena probiotic. Watu washashangaa hizi ni gani?
Kweli.
Next ni another term which is, let's finish that structure and then I move on to a few other questions.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. So easy classes zote, the antibiotics, the antifungals, the antivirals, and the antiparasitic agents actually fall under antimicrobial agents.
Okay.
Kwa hivyo antimicrobials ni antibiotics, ni antivirals, ni antifungals na ni antiparasitics. Yes.
So under one family.
Yes, under the antimicrobials.
Okay.
So vitu kama antimicrobials ndo zinatumika kutreat infections that are caused by either bacteria, by fungi, by parasitic infections and by viruses.
Okay.
Kwa hivyo tukiget specific hapo kwa antivirals ni drugs zenye zinatumika kutreat viral infections. Kitu kama a very common viral infection ni flu ama the common cold. But hii ni one of the major contributing factors to antimicrobial resistance actually. Na ni kwa sababu watu wana misuse vitu kama amoxicillin. Ukiwa na homa haufai kuitibu because whether you do something or you don't, homa itaisha within 7 days. So hakuna haja ya kujisumbua kujaribu kutibu homa
when you can just
wait for 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah, ni ile yenye we lead very busy lifestyles, so mtu ana prefer kupona haraka.
Sema siwezi toka kwa hii nyumba
and get back to their business. It's a major contributing factor and it's very worrying.
But then the question becomes, why is it sold in the pharmacy if if I can just wait?
So hapo hivi why is it sold in the pharmacy?
Why is it still sold in the first place?
So hapo hivi I'll point to the failure of the healthcare professionals kwa sababu pia wana contribute in that mtu akikuja hapo hivi si itamuuliza sana, anataka amoxicillin aende afanye nini. So the pharmacist and especially pharmaceutical technologist wana prescribe the drugs anyhowly without any regulation. Kwa that's a major contributing factor.
Okay.
And also maybe I talked about unregulated. Now there are no regulations in place to enable proper selling of these antibiotics. And also Easy pharmacists, farm techs, easy chemists, those are business people.
Yeah.
So maybe on away the profits na the risks.
Unasema umekatwa kidole unaitisha penicillin.
Haraka. Yeah.
Give me my money. And that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it now, maybe we'll do that call out to the ministry and the relevant authorities a bit later on, what can be done in terms of policy and regulations to ensure also that we have stricter measures in how people are, accessing this medicine. But coming back to you on, again, prescriptions, my antibiotic dose. So I've gone to hospital, I have a UTI, God forbid, and then I received my antibiotics.
Okay.
Nimefika mahali nasikia nishapona. I no longer feel the pain, I don't have the symptoms. Nini. Niachie hapo.
Okay.
Does it mean kuna bacteria fulani zilikuwa kwa kona zimetulia zinangoja, or have I healed? How does this also come into play in increasing this resistance, if any?
Okay, to tackle that, nitaanza na remind the audience that you actually have to finish your antibiotic dose. Anytime when you unapewa antibiotics, umeprescribe antibiotics na a medical practitioner, ensure that umemaliza your antibiotic dose. Kwa sababu usipo, I like to give this example. Tunapeananga dawa ndio to fight the infection. Yeah, so ukiipea dawa, you're actually fighting the infection. But mtu hata akikupiga, you have a tendency to kick back. Kwa hivyo inafikanga mahali yenye umehit bacteria, but sasa hujamaliza dose KO ndio knockout ndio.
Sasa imejam.
Yeah, so ina jam yeah, so uje knock out completely. So venye uliput ni kuna tu bacteria zenye hazijakufa na zingine ziko
zimetulia mahali
hazijafikiwa. So if you stop, maybe nimekupea amoxicillin for a dose ya 5 days na umekunywa, and after 3 days umesikia vizuri. So for the 2 days unaamua manze kumeza hizi tablets ni a big challenge. Kwa hivyo na chukua so ukifanya hivyo kuna hizo bacteria zenye hazijakuwa knocked out na with time zita gain back their strength na zitakuja zikiwa resistant to amoxicillin. So next time ukikuja, I will give you a dose ya 10 days. I will give you a dose ya 10 days ama ni kuongeze more drugs.
Right. Yeah. I've seen it happen even with especially tuberculosis.
Yes.
I think it's an 8-month long treatment process, and I've seen a case where a patient skipped a couple of days actually. They pretended to have completed the whole treatment, but kumbe in the 6th, 5th month they had skipped a week. So wakafika mwisho, checked by the doctor and told, I know you didn't really do all your meds, if you're being honest, but we now have to do this again for 6 months. So another prescription for another 6 months. And I think those are the effects which people should be aware of. If you're not completing your dosage, you're only lengthening the treatment process, which becomes a bit difficult again in handling. Someone at home anakaa hivi anauliza, how scientists wenu si watengeneze drug ingine against that? New pills against that resistance, treat the resistance, inabidi kwa antibiotics. Why? How's that hard or easy?
It's very difficult. Nilipenda when you introduced the show and you actually mentioned that it was the fortunes events za Alexander Fleming pale kwa laboratory yake zenye zilifanya kuwe na what I like to regard as the greatest magic in medicine. And that is the development of the first antibiotic, that was penicillin. Kwa hivyo I think development ya novel medicines for treatment ya these antimicrobial resistant strains ni a big challenge, ni a very big challenge, kwa sababu when you look back, I think it's 12 years ago the last antibiotic ili developiwa. And so si kitu rahisi, kwa sababu the drug development process ni something that takes years. And it has for just one drug unaweza pata umeinvest like $2 billion, which is something yenye it's very expensive. Kwa hivyo people tend to, ama the sponsors wana tend to go for short term projects. Mtu anataka tu kitu yenye inaweza developiwa haraka so that they can make profits. Kwa hivyo hii ni kitu yenye ina contribute na so many factors, including finances na like watu ku accept ku get into that long process. Development of new agents.
12 years, that's a long time.
Yes, 2012.
Wow, 2012 the last time. Okay, let's get to answer a very important question here, and I am throwing it to you, Omondi, Brian, which is ndajuaje niko na hiyo resistance. Also, I just wanted to add on to his point, which is maybe you will also develop resistance against the new drug which is supposed to treat your resistance. So that's another long cycle which you're throwing yourself into. Omondi, the question here is, how do I know I have developed resistance?
So how to know? Ukiwa na an infection, kuna hizo the signs and symptoms. So basically, if you are given any drug, those signs na umemaliza the regimen, you should start feeling better. Now you get that ukiwa na resistance, unapewa dawa, unamaliza the dose, and then there's no change. Ukienda kwa lab, wamepima, wamepata kuna this strain of bacteria ama kuna hii infection, and then unapewa the treatment regimen, unazitumia perfectly, lakini haupati any improvement.
Kuna vaccination naweza pigwa mapema tu hii story. Ni build resistance.
Kuna vaccination for some but not all.
All right.
So for example, ukiangalia mostly vaccination tunatumia for viruses. Ukiangalia the hepatitis, kuna vaccination hepatitis B, and then kuna pia vaccination ya human papilloma virus, hiyo ni yenye cause cervical cancer. So vaccination mostly ziko, but for for bacteria, I don't think kama ziko mingi hivyo than the viruses.
All right. I'm now going to read a couple of messages which you've received online, and then I come back to you to just answer one last question each and a parting shot for the same, to just build up that awareness. But I had one question before I read the feedback. This is from me and my team, which is on the ear hapa. Wanasema na nikifinya ma lemon ma herbs niekelee mahali hivi nijifunike na blanketi 18 hours straight. Resistant, hakuna kitu bacteria. Is that something that can work? Any of you who can handle that?
So me, I think mostly kama uko na homa. Kama uko na homa na uko na an alternative, ni usitumie antibiotic. Itakuwa misusing antibiotic.
But so sijui niko na HIV na
hiyo iko advised.
That cannot work.
Okay. Hakuna remedies online zenye zinaweza replace natural remedies that can replace over the counter.
But ziko in development. Ukiangalia sasa pharmacognosy, kuna research yenye imepelekwa pharmacognosy, and very soon hadi ukiangalia the more drugs zenye tuko nazo zimetoka from plants. So maybe the problem with the natural regimen ni hakuna standardization, so we can't actually know and we can't tell the right dose you should take. But ukiangalia these drugs zenye tuko nayo, some of them, the active ingredient imetoka from plants.
Reading that feedback, coming back, the one question that I want each of you to answer for Olmanyak, it's what will happen if this continues to be a rising case into the future? Resistance in black will build up, so that we also paint a picture, and then you can give a parting shot on awareness. And then for Omondi brand, we'll handle any positive technological advancements or in research, including maybe what you're doing at the club. I think at that point you can also tell other university students on what your club is about, and if that's something that's open for them to come and take a part in. I'm sure I love the research aspect, which you can also speak of. You have a bit like 2 minutes each for that. So let me read the feedback as I come back. Pale online, KUTV Kenya, we're streaming KUTV station on Facebook, KUTV Kenya live on YouTube, and then you can tag me and the station as well on social platforms. Kampoke anasema watching live from KNH. I hope you are not a patient and you are providing treatment at KNH. But thank you for tuning in from KNH. Watu ndani wote. Tuko ndani Roisa. Vamos Ashire ni Solitei anasema. Ameweka fire emojis tano hapo. Shout out to Ashire on set. Isaac Ogutu, shout out to Brian Omondi. the young brilliant mind and great pharmaceutical researcher. As medical lab technologist with ardent interest in mitigation of AMR, I encourage such talks. Big up OKENYE. Thank you, Isaac Ogutu, for tuning in there. And I know this is a conversation you've enjoyed if you're a medical lab technologist. Samuel Juma, Bigman Bazu, Ashire, and Umondi, shout out to you guys. That's from Samuel Juma. I'm going to pick a shout out. Nijulishe TV, live from KMKU. Huyo mse wa Baltimore. Mwambie niko KM na inama. Dominic, watching us all the way from Baltimore. Tumia watu is a cabbage. Wambie wa paste, uweke za cabbage. Wanainama huko KM, bro. Acha. Saidia, of course. Thank you for the feedback. Continue sending it. We'll read it after, of course, we close this conversation. Yes, let's begin here. What happens?
Yeah, so to close the conversation,
yes.
Kwanza asante sana. Thank you for having us here. So the long-term effect, the misuse of antibiotics and antimicrobial resistance will have, when you will mention, a very long-term treatment yenye the diseases yenye zinakosiwa na these parasites, fungi and viruses. Kwa hivyo ni kujiumiza and statistics we always go back to statistics. So it is projected that by 2050, in case we don't have a new antimicrobial regimens, tunaweza kuwa na untreatable conditions, so inaweza lead to a lot of loss of lives. When we go back to the dark age of medicine, kwenye hatukuwa na any antibiotics prior to the discovery of Alexander Fleming. Kwa hivyo ni a very pressing factor and it's a global issue that needs to be addressed. And we can do all these through a One Health approach, to collaborate between the environment people, the healthcare professionals and the animal sector. Ndio tuweze kumitigate antimicrobial resistance. So my parting shot ni amoxicillin si peremende. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So back to me. I'll start by saying, but me, I'm positive. This is something that we can actually overcome. Yeah, if we just try to come together and work things through by just doing what we are required to do, this is something tunaweza fanya. So some of the new technologies zenye zimekuwa discovered to help mitigate the spread of AMR, as I said before, ni hiyo nanotechnology. So nanotechnology ni sijui kama ushaisikia these micro robots. Yeah, kitu kama hiyo. Zinaingia and then zinaenda sasa kwa the specific target. Yeah. So hizo zinaweza tumika to help treat the resistant strains. And then another thing ni hiyo yenye nisema bacteriophages. Yeah, so tunaweza itumia hiyo pia kujaribu ku treat the resistant bacterial infection. And then another thing ni our pharmaceutical companies pia bado ziko on their way doing research. They are still actively doing research. The problem ni research, venye Ashira alisema, ina take a lot of time and also ina take a lot of money. Yeah, so our pharmaceutical companies, they are still doing research. Now for us, what we should do, we should try create awareness. So when you shapata information, make sure unaambia your friends and relatives pia, yeah, to use the few drugs that tuko nazo tuzitumie vizuri. Tusifike a position yenye we have the disease and we can't treat it. Right. Yeah, because you don't have the right drugs. Yeah, so now at KUIPRC, first of all, let me start by talking about solving resistance. You can also follow them on their social solving resistance, iko pale Instagram. So this organization inajaribu work actively to try mitigate the spread of AMR. And then kwa KUIPRC, this is a research-based organization. It's a club in Kenyatta University. And our patron is Dr. Makanga. I know she's watching. Yeah, so at KUIPRC, we're just trying to cultivate the culture of research in pharmacy students. Ukiangalia research ni one of the fields zenye, as pharmacists, we are expected to do research. But normally what's happening in Kenya ama all over the world ni pharmacists, they don't tap into this opportunity. And this is we'll also be creating jobs by research. This is a lucrative opportunity for pharmacists and also other people who are interested in research. And at KUIPRC, we are open to collaborations. If you have a research project and you need pharmacists to take a look at it, yeah, we are open and we are free. You can just contact us. You can also follow us in our socials at KUIPRC, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, KUIPRC zote. Yeah, we are just trying to bring the research aspect now to the students. Yeah, we are facilitating students to do research. Yeah, and you want to publish their articles mapema. Yeah, you don't have to do masters ama umalize degree ndio uweze kufanya research. Yeah.
Wanadhani research ni ya masters tu.
Yeah.
Na get PhD.
Yeah,
so
maybe my parting shots. Yeah, so what I can say ni we cannot stop the spread of AMR. What you can do, you can just slow the progression. Ama we can make it go slowly kama hiyo. Yeah, so everyone has a role. So through the One Health approach, we can just come together, take up our roles, and just help stop the spread. We don't want to get into a case where we have the infection, we have the diseases, but we cannot treat them because hatuna madawa. Yeah, so hiyo information kidogo yenye pia wewe uko nayo, just share to your friends, share to your neighbors, make sure you are keeping clean, make sure unamaliza dose, make sure hiyo amoxil acha kutumia for homa, amoxil si ya homa. Yeah.
All right. Educate,
advocate,
act now. That's what they're saying here. From the Kenyatta University Young Farmer Research Club. Far end there, project manager Omoni Brand Biambo calling out to the Olomniak, who's the chairperson of the Kenyatta University Young Farmer Research Club, also reminding you that Moxil si peremende. Kama homa ni kama
Fano Arsenal.
Why argue when you can just wait?
Yes.
Think about that. Biashara Tuesday is going for a short break. I am coming back after this conversation to get into the newspaper review section. Grab yourself a copy of the Dailies. Kuna story moto hapa leo. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's security has been withdrawn by the state over claims of him promoting dissent against President William Ruto and the Kenyan government. There are 8 public universities which are under investigation for corruption, academic fraud, and mismanagement of funds. And the man who's rattled the internet, Busia Senator Okia Omtata, who now promises to politicians that he will stop them from using public money if he becomes president in 2027. A lot to discuss, so be excited. Taking a short break, I'll be right back. The hashtag is Biashara Tuesday. Don't go too far.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili. Hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari.
Mimi ni mwanamke mwake.
Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday, we ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tuna kutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline Kimwele.
So, all right, let's get into it. Asanteni sana. We're just prepping ourselves here to get on air, and we are live. It's 8:58 in the morning on Biashara Tuesday. Give us your feedback on social media. Tupatie, tutag, tuandikie Kakiru kwa comment section. Alafu tuonyeshe, ninatumia hapa picha mpya za the new notes. Ojong, have you seen them? Notes za Kenya.
Unakumbuka tukiongelea kuhusu the effect of changing notes.
Of changing notes.
That is what we were talking about.
Yes, yesterday.
So when we said that the signature needs to be updated,
yes.
It's not that what have been updated. Wameweka sura mpya, kuna pesa sura mpya.
Nimeona. Ndio nimetumia picha hapa na my producer Ran Ngure. So apologies to Major Maina ambaye jana alikuwa ameniuliza hiyo swali nikamwambia hakuna kitu imechange ni signature, kumbe there's actually a lot that has changed. So this is a discussion that we already had from yesterday. Let's get the headlines first and then I introduce you into this show. I have the Business Daily, the Daily Nation. Ojong will help me with the headline of the Standard, and then we'll have Consolata reintroduce herself, halafu tuingie katika discussion. The Business Daily, Adani terms 637 billion lost deal in Kenya, immaterial. Adani terms a 637 billion shillings lost in Kenya deal, immaterial. Adani terms 637 billion shillings lost in Kenya deal, immaterial. That's what the Business Daily is saying. And it's a picture of Indian billionaire Gautam Adani, who's been indicted by the US authorities for alleged bribery, and they are looking into money laundering, corruption, and other charges. Hapo chini kuna immigration story in the Business Daily on Ruto's visa-free entry policy, which has worsened Kenya's travel rankings. And we have slid 17 places so fast because of that electronic transit authorization, which apparently makes it visa-free, but is still actually a bit more expensive and imposes a new requirement for others who are visa-free in the first place. So we have slid down in terms of our attraction for travel by foreigners. And this is notwithstanding the recent development of the abduction of Besije from right within Nairobi, which has also caused a lot of diplomatic conversation in this region. The Daily Nation, we have Ruto men sued over classified spying software. And the Ruto men are painted here on the front of the Daily Nation as the Principal Secretary of the National Treasury, the Head of Public Service, the President's speechwriter, and we have a health sector entrepreneur. So they have allegedly planned to acquire an online propaganda machine to counter hostility against the administration and boost his re-election campaign. The fallout between the president's close aides and the American owners of this software have revealed a scheme that was supposed to deploy software to spy on targets. Yani walikuwa wamekuja na software ya kusaidia kutuspy pale mtandaoni. Ukiwa X ukiongea mambo yako against serikali, wana spy on you, wana get my info, nini, unashtuka umeabductiwa nini, mambo kama hayo. Lakini now there's a fallout between President Ruto and this company which was making the software worth 120 million to help him do that and counter any of propaganda and counter with propaganda online for his re-election bid in 2027. When Ojuang keeps saying that Ruto amejipanga huko mbele, na sisi tunafaa kuwa tumejipanga, these are some of those ways in which we get to see that. Man's already had deployed software for his re-election campaign way in advance to counter hostility online. So think about it. Ojuang, Madam, the Standard.
Thank you so much. Umeongea kuhusu a proverbial hair not being able kufikia zabibu pale juu. So on page 5 of the Standard, before nisome the headline, they are talking about MPs seek Adani alternative after deal cancellation. Pale hivyo wanakuambia that Gautam Adani anasema hiyo deal yake ya Kenya si tamu at all. It's not about the money they are talking about. It's about what they were getting apart from the money.
Yes.
Our airport for over 30 years and an annual equity stake ya 18% after 30 years. Hiyo ndio imepotea. Si hizi pesa zingine ndogo ndogo. So acha kutudanganya sita. The main headline, unajua tumetoka kuongea kuhusu farmers now pharmaceuticals. The main headline of the Standard inaongea kuhusu farmers hawa wengine. And that's how you get to know that kumbe kuna tofauti ya mkulima na mkulima. Mkulima ni pharmacist. Yeye ana deal na dawa. Sasa kuna mwingine ako far. That's a farmer. Huyo ndio shida yake, maisha yake yako kwa shida. Sikia vile the Standard wanasema. Life about to get worse for farmers. There are new laws, and these laws MPs are considering regulations that will make farming a tough venture. One, will need a license to sell an animal that must be registered. New authorities to run farming are to be set up as produce handlers and will need to go back to school. It appears on page 8 hii story. Sawa? Wanasema kila ng'ombe, in fact kutoka hilo kesi ipite, hakuna mtu afaa kuita ng'ombe. Ng'ombe iko na ID. Under the deal, horses, donkeys, mules and ducks as livestock and must be labeled. Registration. Each label will detail the breed. Kama mtu anakuita ng'ombe, mpeleke kotini akwambie wewe ni ng'ombe type gani, wewe ni ng'ombe breed gani. Anasema ni breed, date of birth. Kama wewe ni ng'ombe, lazima tujue ulizaliwa lini. So for the very first time tunaona ng'ombe za Mount Kenya, ng'ombe za Coast, ng'ombe za Kisii.
Hatujui ni gani ni kwa ngapi.
And information deemed necessary. Who is deeming this information necessary or this other information not necessary?
Right.
It's worse for farmers. That's the headline on the Standard.
I would actually add to say it can read also worse for Kenyans, because farmers basically is the entire backbone of this republic.
We used to saying kilimo ni uti wa nani? Uti wa Kenya. Now they have touched the mgongo after the mlima.
Consolata, welcome to the show once more.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you back.
Thank you so much, Richard, and also my friend Ojuam. I'm sorry for that. To my viewers, I am Consolata Wairimu Awero, and I am a passionate youth leader. And I'm happy to be back again, of course, to discuss issues that are affecting the country. And on to our headlines. I think it's such a bizarre that Ruto is investing money in unnecessary things.
Yes.
You can imagine he has already invested in a classified spying software. Whereas we have patients in hospitals who don't have any funds for, pesa ya matibabu, hawana dawa. I mean, Ruto men sued over classified spying software. And then we have the men there. We have Chris Kipto, the Principal Secretary, National Treasury. We have Felix Kosgei, Head of Public Service. We have Eric Ngeno. We have the Jaish Saini. And then we are told that a high-stakes commercial litigation has exposed President William Ruto's alleged plan to acquire an online propaganda machine to counter hostility against his administration and boost his re-election campaign. You can imagine.
This is a man who's thinking
this one, he's actually thinking about 2027. And my question is, what about working for Kenyans?
Yeah.
What about working on the manifesto you promised Kenyans? In fact, these men who are in the photos above, I am like, I think these people are in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Why should we have the Principal Secretary?
National Treasury. He should be somebody coming from the ICT sector, not the National Treasury. We have Felix Kosgei from Head of Public Service, and even the President's speech writer. And then we have one from the health sector. I feel that he's completely out of track, honestly. Ojuam Mariam, the President's speech writer, Eric Ngeno, who is supposed to be a man of repute in journalistic circles, is involved in this. And I'm actually wondering why Itumbi is not here. Because kama ni mambo ya online na system ya facts apparently, which is spearheaded by Itumbi, he should have been here, unless pia amesema jina yake isitokee. He's thinking ahead, as you always keep reminding us here that, Ruto anafikiria pale mbele na pia lazima citizens wajipange namna hiyo. However, this is classified spying software which was supposed to be unleashed on the public online to influence trending hashtags and also to counter journalists and media houses like ourselves. In short, hizi vitu tunadiscuss hapa Biashara Tuesday kuanzia the time that should have been implemented, tulikuwa tunapigwa vita mbaya sana.
We are under siege. Ukisoma hiyo story ya Ruto men acquiring a propaganda machine, it is not supposed to spy on politicians alone.
Yes.
The highlight is on journalists and media houses.
Yes.
So that he can be able to grab and acquire information that can help him in his re-election bid. For the very first time, I call Ruto President Ruto.
President
Ruto. Because he's talking about his re-election.
Okay.
Shida ni, the pot is boiling and it's boiling nicely. I keep saying we need men and women of integrity, of valor, with tested proof record to show up and to state that they need to run for presidency. Okiya Omtatah on page 6 of the Standard has made his intentions clear now to Kenyans. Now you may pave way for other things like people like youthful Morara Kebaso to say that in future I can work with Omtatah. Before that kulikuwa na watu wanasema Morara for president, Omtatah for president. Ticket inaanza kupungua. Ndio tupate mo. But as you can see, kwa mtazamaji mwenye anajisomea The Daily Nation before au wengine wanunue yao, is that Ruto yeye halali. Kama ni Mount Kenya, huko ako campaign ya kusema mlima wamenikataa. My people, watu wa Kalenjin, mtanikubali. But as that is happening, things are still boiling in Rift Valley, where Moi University is under siege too. The students are saying it's not working. The lecturers are saying it's not working. UASU, Eldoret chapter, are complaining about tribalism, nepotism, and corruption that is choking universities' academic activities. Hata sio kwa curricula, juu bado wanafunzi wako huko wanarandaranda huko Eldoret. So maisha inaendelea for the comrades. Ni vile inawaoma kupigia mama nyumbani akutumie 100 ndio usiiname lunchtime, but haujasoma. At the end of the semester, you will still be accountable and responsible to a parent. So, Ruto yeye yako politics huko ana miss hiyo. That's why venture into a new deal ya kununua a propaganda machine. Hizi ni vitu wanasoma from Russia. Russia ndo wanatumiaga propaganda vizuri vile inafaa. But again, there is a new app yenye wameforce ikue jina, ikue anonymous, itagwe X. Sisi bado tunaita Twitter.
Yes.
That we have proven you can do campaign on X or Twitter and fail, that like in the case of South Africa. But you can also do campaign online and win in a state like United States of America, where civilization is at par with the world's standard. Politics is developed to that standard, but they were able to tell the deep state and everything else concerning Democratic Party that the people can speak. So, Kenya 2027, the senators are working so hard to ensure wanajiongeza 2 years. Inakataa. That's a sad thing. That Senate mahali mina natambua
unawateteanga sana. Yeah, I know.
Saizi imagine bills zenye wanafosiwa kupass ati waongeze 2 years, si ndio? Hiyo inakataa. Kuna ingine bro ya kuensure that you don't live stream presidential elections results from constituency level. Hiyo ni ku undermine accountability and transparency of electoral process. Na bado nasikia Ruto yeye deal yake imekataa sasa. Na mwenye kupeana hiyo deal ni mama. Anatumia lawyer anaitwa Kanchori and Mutali and co-advocates.
Yes.
Tayari ametumia 172 million Kenya shillings. Kwa ile deal ya 120. Unajua deal ya 120 inakaa ndogo, but ikishafika itazaa pesa mingi sana. Juu ya hiyo amesema kaende kufa dereva kufa makanga.
Right.
and we have such faces exposed, kuna zenye haziko exposed. Hao watu si wajinga. Usiulize kwa nini.
Ndio maana nauliza ako wapi Itumbi?
Yes, mjinga.
Ako wapi Ruto mwenyewe?
Yes, mjinga. But either way we can make it.
All right. You know what I like, Consolata? You know what I like about you know how Ojwang usually approaches this is positivity, right?
Yeah.
So last week it was a conversation about the state of the nation ahead of what President William Ruto was going to announce, and our fellow panelist who was here said, we are headed in the wrong direction. Ojwang kept insisting we are headed in the right direction. We have come from the wrong direction, and now we're heading to the right direction. He's mentioned that Ruto is getting a spying software propaganda machine, but we have X, which you can download for free. It's not 172 million. Just get on Play Store, App Store, download, get a couple of youth on, discuss these issues, counter the propaganda from government. He is President William Ruto, definitely, because the bill that Ojwang is speaking of, that is at the Senate, on preventing live streaming of election results and also not putting that mandate on IEBC is a bill coming from the National Dialogue Committee, which is comprised of Kenya Kwanza and the ODM side and the opposition at large. But it paints a very positive picture, which is, tunaweza wacounter kama ni mambo ya machine online tuingie X tu wacounter pale. Kama ni mambo ya kufikiria 2027 kuna mtata na kina Morara washaanza mapema. Kama ni mambo ya builds, do you hold the same positivity? That's actually like my question. Do you hold the same positivity that, regardless of the tactics, strategies that Ruto has at the moment, the public is actually at pace with him?
Okay, to some extent, politically, he is headed in the right direction because he has already laid out the strategies and all that. Lakini mimi naweza taka kusema, I think Ruto is headed in the wrong direction.
Himself.
Especially when it comes to common mwananchi. And you see even the fights going around him and Gachagua, it's not about mwananchi. It's about those at the top.
Yeah.
That is what pains me the most. And I feel that, Ruto has, venye nimemwona sahi, he has the capability to do anything. Last time, remember ile time kulikuwa na Gen Z protests.
Yeah.
And some journalists went to State House. I remember he said that Kenya is a country where everyone has freedom. You have freedom to say whatever you want. And I remember he actually said one statement and I was like, I knew this guy can do anything. He actually said that, in other countries, there's limited freedom of speech. You cannot just write what you want to write on Twitter. You cannot just say what you want to say on television. And he said something, I have the capability to close them, but I am not. So hata tukisema ati tutaenda Twitter kumcounter huko, hata hiyo Twitter anaweza ingia, anaweza fika huko, na pia in fact he can really send goons towards our side and all that. We have seen the likes of Bob Njagi wakishikwa, abductions left, right and center. I feel that this is a strategy that the government is using to keep us talking, so that uko nyuma ya tent vitu mingi sana zinaendelea, waendelee tu kuiba, and before we realize it is already 2027. Now you remember when Adani, everyone was complaining about Adani. That is when he issue ya Gachagua ikakuja. For me, I feel this is a laid out strategy. It is a plan they know so well. I know Ruto knew so well that once he akitoa Gachagua alikuwa anajua kutakuwa na backlash from Mount Kenya. It's not that he by the way, he's a very bright man. He's a very, and I feel if he used that the wits he has to develop Kenya, I think would be really far ahead. And also I think for MPs, sidhani ni kutumiwa wanatumiwa. Really they are not using their brains, because you have the ability, you have a brain and you can stand up for yourself and you say that this one is a bill that is going to affect Kenyans. But I don't know sijui ni nini wamefanyiwa. I don't know what happens when they get there. They actually forget mwananchi. And it's so sad that after the Adani deal has been cancelled, they are the first ones to offer alternatives. Can you imagine? Imagine, they're offering alternatives. And in fact, in the Daily Nation, I think page 5, we have dishonorable, greedy MPs pocket bodyguards and drivers allowances. Can you imagine? Imagine ati pesa inatumwa ya driver wako na bodyguard
unakula.
Okay, and I was those people, they really don't have a system. They don't have a system to, because I feel these people should be paid directly, not via a person. You can imagine that kind of is it? I think they are gluttons.
Right. So, Ojwang, what I'm getting from Consolata is that we are being distracted. And I had the same thought actually when, and you did say it here, when they were discussing on the extension of presidential term limits and member of parliaments and senate at the same time. It was when we had the Adani deal. Also they threw us a bone of Gachagua impeachment. Na nakumbuka kila saa ulikuwa unakuja kwa show unasema tuachane na mambo za Gachagua na Ruto, to focus kwa SHA na SHIF, to focus kwa Adani. Na tukafanya hivyo, we always try to make sure that the shows on our discussions of these newspapers to steer away from hiyo drama. Na hiyo drama imeendelea, is still here. On the Daily Nation they're saying Gachagua security has been withdrawn because of what he's been recently out there in the public saying against the Kenya Kwanza government, against President William Ruto. Actually, in his latest statements, he said that former President Donald Trump should actually impose restrictions on travel for any Kenyan officials who are involved in the Adani deal. Na nashuku hii imefanya President William Ruto hajafurahia sana. Na tumeavoid sana hiyo story, right? Is this the same thing with IEBC bill that Ruto is also just trying to make us focus on 2027, as Consolata is saying, as tuko focused, tunasema tujaribu kubitu mse 2027, and between now and then MPs are pocketing people's money. Money is being lost on unclaimed softwares and SHA and SHIF and whatnot.
Kitu cha kwanza, the money that the MPs are pocketing, and the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula is pleading with them to stop, is 4,200 for each driver, 4,200 for each bodyguard, taking your MP back to his constituency or residence constituency, or going for a night out or weekend vile wanatokeaga.
4,200 a night.
Yeah, 4,200 every night. So hizo pesa ukuja kwako wewe ndio unajua bodyguard wako, wewe ndio unajua dereva wako. So azifai ziende kwa huyo dereva ama huyo nini direct. Juu yao ni allowance yenye kwa mbunge. Ni mbunge anafaa tumekupatia
anagawa kutoka kwa allowance.
Sasa wao ni kugawa hawagawi. And these personalities, the drivers and bodyguards to these MPs, have written to the National Assembly Speaker. Naongea na mdosi wangu anani sana. Yeah, that's one thing. Now, on the issue of IEBC, it's not a distraction because it's something that is there. We don't have commissioners. We don't have an IEBC. That is why some MCAs have never been replaced. We also have MPs who lost their seats. No by-elections have ever been done. But we have a new deputy president.
So fast.
For you to be sworn in as a deputy president of this country, the IEBC must certify that the seat is vacant. So which IEBC is that? Yenye haiwezi shughulikia hata by-elections za MCA. But iko for that purpose pekee. In 2024, we were supposed to review our boundaries as a country.
Yes.
Constituency-based boundaries, sana. Which is a role and mandate of IEBC. That has not been done yet. There is a deliberate attempt to delay the reconstitution of IEBC so that this regime can pin that on judiciary. So, kulishawekwa within 10 days. Kuna time President Ruto alisema within 10 days na create ama na reconstitute IEBC. He did that. But I'm sure via proxy, people who are aligned to the government of the day are the ones who took that case to court. So saizi iko dragged pale hivyo. Mtu saizi Ruto akikuuliza kwa nini hatuna IEBC, ukimuuliza kwa nini atakwambia Si nyinyi ndio mko mahakamani. Hiyo process iko huko mahakamani. Hatuongeleleagi vitu ziko mahakamani. Unaona? As they are doing that, huku on the side, anajipanga. Buy more time. Sisi tunalia. No, but we are on the right track.
Okay. So
let them deal with that.
Okay.
We don't care who is the IEBC chair. We just care that
there
will
an
be an IEBC.
Okay.
We also don't care if you want those presidential election results to be live streamed or not. Kenyans are saying, and I will quote one Rapture the Scientist, a legendary comedian who has beaten odds. Huyu jamaa kuna wakati alikuwa total drunk. He beat the odds akatoka kwa pombe. Yeye anasema TikTok ni ya mtu.
Si ya mtu. Ni ya China.
No one will ban all the apps.
Dance.
So wewe, si umeambiwa usi live streamiwe, wewe ukienda kuvote 2027 kama hauna bundles itisha. Tutakuwa hotspot. Live stream yako. We are going to have for the very first time an agent in each and every polling station, meaning elections 2027 will at least be free and fair for everyone. That is why Omtata saizi haogopi kusema mimi nasimama rais. Juu anajua Wakenya wako woke. Never underestimate the power of 18% as they call it who are online. They call them watu wa online. Consolata. Uwe unalala Facebook ama LinkedIn. Why would I then call them to online?
Nalala kwa server room.
So how watu wanna drive that conversation online? Ni sisi.
Yes.
And this is what we are doing, especially from Roysambu. Online tunajua chenye tunaongelelea. Ukifika chini unasikia baba mboga na mama mboga vitu wanaongelea sio zile.
Lakini
unampe the fact of that information.
Consolata anasema though that President William Ruto can do anything. Actually, during KCSE walizima Telegram and have been trying to get back on Telegram. It's not registering on this phone. I don't know what's happening. No chances of fear that anaweza amua go total Moi era azime kila kitu.
Hiyo you happen. Yeah. A country can ban.
Matiang'i alizima live stream ya TV stations in 2017 so
a country can also ban apps. Okay. Ruto aseme we are banning Twitter. Are you banning all the VPNs? Are you banning our brains? I keep telling our people to so many manze. Do you know that's the only thing they will never steal from you?
Knowledge.
You can buy a land today, now waibe. You can buy your own airport, now waibe. But knowledge, we have a whole lot of Kenyans we are calling the Gen Zs. Akina Consolata leo hakuna jobs. They are not the ones who are crying too much hakuna job. Wao wamepata ways za kutumia AI kujiundia pesa. Wamepata ways za kusema na Safaricom iko na pesa mingi sana. We can create lines za fuliza na tufulize hizo. Umeshika?
Fulize 200 million.
Between 2016, 2017, 2015, 2016, 2017, I was joining campus in 2016. Watu walikuwa wako able kuredeem bonga points into bundles za simu ziko kwa duka through IMEI numbers. Those are the same people wenye saa hizi wako work design wanajua that the president of Kenya akona system fulani anataka kununua from US itumike kama propaganda machine. The same knowledge inawafikia through people like Nelson Amenya mwenye anasema there is a company headed by Gautam Adani mwenye si mtamu at all to take over Ketraco and to take over
JK.
Si tulijua?
Tushajua.
So by 2027 Ruto atakuwa shapiga kila kona amehema.
Right, I love it. As a matter of fact, what should happen now is President William Ruto anafaa unde show yake na watu wake wa discuss venye wanafaa combat Kenyans who are way ahead of time.
Sikiza, it is happening. Ingia TikTok utapata a TikTok account inaitwa The President of Kenya. Hiyo TikTok unapata Rais Ruto akitoka from one office of the State House to the other, nani mbali.
Get ready with me.
Get ready with me.
Akikunywa chai.
But hata hiyo haiwork.
Right.
By 2027 mjinga ndo atakuwa na tawala hii nchi. Juu mwerevu atakuwa mashakani akijificha.
All right.
There is no smartness in that. Okay. I would call it cunning. You're just a cunning.
He's just a cunning president.
Just a cunning.
Oh, agree na Consolata on the bright.
Kuna wewe
on the cunning bit only.
Sijui kama nawezaongezea kitu. I would love to say this. As much as we are the 18% online.
Yeah.
There is a very big problem huko mashinani. I'm telling you, the way we think right now is not the same way the mama mboga in mashinani thinks. They still have hope that Ruto somehow atakomboa hii nchi. Kwanza wakijua ni wa kanisa. You know, I have a grandmother. She was really supporting Ruto up to date. Up to date hajawahi weza kumuongelea negatively. Yani hatakangi kusikia. I feel that what Morara Kebaso started, and it's so sad that people have actually attacked Morara Kebaso so badly, mpaka morali imeenda chini. You know, when people attack you, morali inaenda chini. Alikuwa anasema atatafuta Gen Z, wanaenda huko mashinani, wana-educate hao mama mboga, au wenye hawana simu. Because we are only 18% online. And by the way, majority online ni Gen Zs, si hawa wazee. Tunafaa tuende huko tuwaambie. Because I am telling you, the reason why Ruto haogopi, hakuona watu wa mashinani kwa streets. Ni watu wa online, ni watu wa Gen Z. As long as yule mama mboga hajatokea, ana shida.
Atampata kivyake alafu ampe propaganda.
Na unajua kuchange akili ya huyo mtu ni dakika moja.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's hope, but also we need to use the hope that we have to spread it to the rest of the republic, which is underreached by the technology and the internet. And I'm being reminded by my producer, Ngure, that, you know, with or without individuals, the hope still remains. Plan still same. Kama ni civic education, we can do it. Ojuang Mariam next week Tuesday akiamua hataki kukuja kwa hisho kuongelea vitu za kusaidia wananchi, ameruka bandwagon. Yeye ni CS of KM in the Ruto's government. Tunaachana na yeye, sisi tunaendelea na mkondo.
Watu ni wengi.
Tunaendelea na kazi yao sio. Right. So Ruto men sued over classified spying software is the headline on the Daily Nation. But according to the panelists here, we are technologically savvy as young people. So anunue software zote, asinunue, akataze kustream, asistream. This generation is going to use technology to its advantage, and it should be very scary for those in government. I feel so psyched after that bit of the conversation. Page 5 is where you can read about the greedy MPs who are eating the bodyguards' money. 4,200 unakula jameni ya bodyguard na amekudrive siku mzima. Read it on page 5. And then on education, page 10 of the Daily Nation, guys. I think it's important we also speak a bit on education. It's become a very concerning and running issue in the Republic. This is Moi University. The Vice Chancellor appeared in front of ESCC last week on Wednesday. Corruption case worth billions of Kenyan shillings. 18 universities zinaangaliwa. Nimekuwa nikitafuta hiyo list, but yenye nimepata list so far ni Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University, ambayo wako na case of ghost projects, new administration block, postmodern library, a laboratory. All of these are non-existent, and they were conducted by the former Vice Chancellor, actually, according to the report by ESCC. You can read for yourself on page 10. It's making really hard for standards of education and quality to go up in institutions of higher learning because of this kinds of graft. The money that is supposed to be used for development is plunging the situation or the institutions into their problems because it's not being used effectively. Yani, ile ukora inaendelea nchi hii. Ojuang Mariam.
Matters education.
Tuna concentrate. Maybe that's why, I was thinking of this when I saw the report. And I thought, probably that's why President William Ruto and his cronies are like, you know, munapiga kelele, mnajua watu wanakula nini huko. Mnajua Jaramogi Oginga Odinga pesa yapotea ngapi. Mimi mnanisumbua hapa kuhusu 172M ya spying software. Go to Moi University and ask the VC where the money is. Do you think this rot is well known, like from up top all the way down?
It's well known. It's well known.
that same story on Daily Nation is on the Standard, page 2. And this time round, alumni. I keep saying alumni of any institution can save
The
or
institution.
break the institution. The alumni of more universities wanasema save more university from collapse. Alumni plead with government. Apparently kila mtu lilia government. Even president analiliaga government. Serikali saidia. For decades, more universities stood as a beacon of excellence, nurturing leaders, scholars, and professionals who have shaped Kenya's destiny. An example of such personalities is Professor Mary Kiplagat, Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs at Maseno University. She reflected on the opportunities Moi University provided for her growth in management and leadership. But all that is going down the drain. Moi University kitu haribu sana kule inakuwaga ni tribalism na iko connected politically na ni bigi kuliko the county government ya Uasin Gishu. It always has president's hand in it. Saizi nasema hivyo juu last time ilikuwa President Uhuru Kenyatta na bado walikuwa wanasema DP anasumbua hapo, DP anasumbua hapa, DP anasumbua pale. I will ask you a question.
Ask me.
OKENYE. We have a university in Kisii that is doing so well. That is mostly around number 3, 4. Hapo ndo Moi kuwa. How would it fall under your watch as a president? What legacy would you write about education?
That the university in my own backyard
In a state where you believe that everything that is not good, change its name. Or our university funding model is not working. Call it new university funding model. Hata haina jina. Or NHIF is not working. People are complaining that money is being remitted to NHIF, but when you need it, at an hour of need, haupati. Badilisha hiyo kitu. Ite chief.
N ndo shida.
It's talking about national. Let us take it to mashinani. Now, because we cannot call it mashinani health insurance fund, call it social. In fact, kuna vijana huko wako social media, social this, social that. Ite social.
As a matter of fact, they have changed again. Now it's Taifa Care.
Taifa Care.
Yeah.
I heard wakisema sasa shida si hiyo. That happened because when President Ruto went to Embu, he was not able to defend his own project. He was not able to use his own wording of the project because the former president, the fourth president of Kenya, who believed in universal health coverage, was in his presence. So he talked about universal health coverage. Kitu tuliacha kuongelelea immediately 2022 elections were completed and on 13th August ikakuwa ameshinda. Aliongelelea tena na kutoka hapo ndio aliita Taifa Care.
Taifa Care.
Taifa Care.
Yes.
Hata ni kimungu wangetafuta kama ile ya Obama Care waite Ruto Care juu anatujali.
What I'm getting here from Ojwang Consolata is that these problems still all the way stem back. Then zinarudi kwa President William Ruto. Education in a fail. If you ukitafuta William is at the end of the tunnel. It's you nini na fail. Hata history ya MPs kukula allowance ukifuatilia vizuri. At the end of the tunnel you'll find President William Ruto. Is that where we need to concentrate our efforts at?
Yes. I'll tell you this. If you see an organization failing, a family failing, check the head. The head is the problem. And I feel if President Ruto is really keen on the war against graft and corruption, as he said in parliament, and I felt that was sarcastic. Akiuliza wabunge ati kwa nini hawapitishi hiyo bill. Unajua kuna vile unaona ni kama anachezea Wakenya. That is sarcasm. I feel yeye mwenyewe akiamua hata kuwa corrupt, definitely trickling downwards. The friends, the associates, they will all toe that line. You see? And I feel that it's so sad to the Moi University comrades. I feel that every government official should focus on education and health. That should be your key priority. Imagine hawa watu watakuwa wana graduate, nasikia huko degrees zinaenda miaka 7, 6,
Tisa. I
Tisa.
have people I finished high school with and they're still in their 3rd year.
Imagine.
Right.
Imagine. And I feel tribalism is key in this institution.
It is.
Nilikuwa nasikia ati kuna VC alikuwa huko and the VC seemed as if he would somehow make the institution better, lakini wakamtoa on the basis of sijui tribals, wakasema ati sasa walete mtu wao, and this mtu wao narrative is really killing us. I would love to tell Kenyans, hii mtu wenu, mtu wao, it is never, in fact for them they know, and I know even Gachagua knows, it is not about Mount Kenya. It is not that I come from Mount Kenya region, I will not come here and defend him. Because I know it is not about mwananchi.
Not
it is
about the
about
Mwananchi in
them.
Mount Kenya.
Yeah, it is a war between Gachagua, Kindiki, Ruto. They know what is going on. And I feel hapa, I think EACC, Ruto anafaa ingililie hii kitu personally. Na ninajua, you know, if he decides, he has all the machinery. He can revive this institution. It's so sad that parents are paying the money, unatuma pesa, mtoto asiiname, lakini for a whole 2 semesters, a whole semester asomi. So I was actually wondering now what will happen to the 4th years. To the first years I hear, they have never even attended lecture halls. Even they have never even
seen how the lecturers look like.
Imagine. And what does that mean? I know every Form 4 candidate. I have a sister who completed Form 4 last week. I know most of them will not want to go to Moi University. In a haribu reputation. Yeah.
Now we have, I have a question, an interesting one for you on this regard of graft and corruption in public universities, given you are in student leadership as well. Wanasema 18 universities are now being investigated. I think EACC waliangalia mambo ya Moi Uni, wakasema, ebu na wao wengine by the kama hapa kumeharibika hivi, let's look at others. And then they looked, the one that has really brought interest to me is the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga one, where, you know, they were allocating millions. Unasikia di contractor amerudi akisema, sikumaliza kulipo ile kazi. Unaulizwa kazi iko wapi? I exist on campus. There is no postmodern library, but you're still collecting dues, saying, sijamaliza kulipo kazi nilimaliza. And now it's billions of Kenyan shillings. This is corruption happening between the vice chancellor, the academic, the officials of the institution as well, and they're looking at 18 other universities. I was trying to see if, you know, the universities I know are in this list. I'll just release a full list, but the University of Nairobi is now the 3rd one in that list, the only public list available. Moi University, Jaramogi, and University of Nairobi. We are saying ukifuata shida utapata President William Ruto ni sawa. Lakini hata William Ruto akitoka, this corruption that has been there in public institutions, from someone who has looked at it from the inside as a student, from student leadership, where is the problem at, and how can it be solved? Yeah? Before you get me that answer, I just wanted to add on to the Jaramogi Oginga University issue, where also being investigated by EACC is 200 students who graduated from the university last year, and they had not attained the graduation requirements, and they had bribed their way out of the university. So this is a case which I'm sure people are aware of in many other institutions. Such cases, corruption, backhanded deals in institutions where we're supposed to teach the future generations of leadership. We're supposed to instill integrity. It's very sad to see that unatuma watoto shule wasome lakini wanaenda kusoma ukorofi. Which gives us the kind of leaders that we have really. Kama kina Kipchumba Murkomen were student leaders, and the likes of President Ruto were student leaders. And we can see what is happening after. There is a problem. There is a problem. Where is it coming from? From how you've looked at it, and how can we solve it? If it's solvable at all without the interference of EACC.
Okay, fast forward, I think this stems also from the student themselves, from student leadership. I am involved in the politics here in campus. Most of my friends are in that space, and I can tell you for sure, tribal politics also starts from here. There are people who will not vote for you because you come from a certain region. You are a Kikuyu, you are a Luo, or Siju, you are not from their tribe and all that. And there's this narrative I've always had. we ingia tu huko, tumia tu pesa, lakini ukiingia huko utajilipa.
Na hiyo ni student leadership.
Na hiyo ni student leadership. So it starts from hapa chini. Kwa sababu sasa kama mimi nimekuwa nikijua ninataka niingie hapo nichote zangu niende, definitely even when I graduate and also maybe become a leader in my constituency, that is the same narrative I'll spread out there. I believe it is now high time for students. Let us not look at the tribe. Mtu wetu ametoka wapi, sijui anafanya nini. Let us look at the huyu mtu, what are they offering? And that is what happens to Kenya. Tunapenda kuangalia mambo ya mtu wetu, who has the money and all that. So now you find even kuna projects za student leadership tu zinafanyika. Probably an MC is hired and there are cases where you hear they are never paid. Or they are never paid the full money. So, and you know, these are the kind of people we will have outside there. You see the likes of Ruto, Kipchumba Murkomen, they were once student leaders. And now those are the type of people we tunaona huko. So the issue of university officials actually spearheading that. I think kunafaa kuwa na a committee that looks into these university officials, the administration. Inafaa waangalie, wanachuja wenye wanaona. You know, I think the work concerning graft and corruption should start from Ruto. I'll keep on saying that. Inafaa ianze hapo. Because I am telling you, if Ruto akisimama leo na kuwe resolute na seme hii war ninaianza, kila mtu atafollow that line.
Alright.
You heard that Gachagua on Sunday said that during cabinet meetings, the CS walikuwa wanamuogopa. It's as if they were worshipping a god or something. And only him, according to what he says, that he was able to tell him the truth, that the rest were somehow fearing. And you see, there's something that, you see, somebody somewhere is not, kuna vitu haziendelee vizuri. So mimi naweza sema watu, kuna commission education inafaa, ama ministry ikama na a committee, a very good committee to look into all these institutions starting with Moi. Because as a comrade I feel their pain. Kuna mtu alikuwa ananiambia ati yeye aliitwa Moi University, lakini after amesikia hizo strikes hajawahi enda shule, amekuwa nyumbani.
Yanangojea akiwa nyumbani.
You can imagine. Na ndo ameingia campus, kwa hivyo hata hajui kama ako semester 1, hajui kama atasoma, you know. Yeah.
Right. Ojong Mariam, I hope KUSA wanakulipa pesa zako kiasi.
Nimesikia kitaje yeye karibu nimwambia aja, kumbe unajua.
KUSA kulipa pesa zako.
Hawalipwi.
OKMC, but you know, let us in on corruption. This is a university television station. We can try and skirt around the issue. We can try and sijui nini, but lazima tuseme. Lazima tuongelee kuhusu corruption in public unis, right?
Kuna kitu ameguza. That it is us. The problem is us. And I will keep saying that. You know, your ordinary politician will tell you shida ni wa Kenya, but will not explain why ama how you can get out of that problem. For example, itasema sisi wa Kenya ndio tunaendaka tunachagua mtu mwenye tunajua atatukula. But you don't tell them what to do. Because you believe they know, but they don't want to do. Until wingie mashinani, bro, ndo ujue how people don't know. That is why the political class huwa inatupiga chenga. Juu yeye hata ingia aongee Twitter. In fact, Twitter, if you check on their profiles and what they post, ni picha zao na walikuwa mahali fulani. Now, chenye wanaambia hao ni wengi kiasi kuliko the 18%. So kazi yetu inafaa kuwa akienda huko aseme na nyinyi mnarudi
tunasema ingine.
Si unasema ingine, unamwambia the truth yenye alificha. Be a journalist. A journalist is always truth bila kujali nini.
Ni nani na manini.
Yeah, hapo ndo impartiality ukam. Unajua sometimes we talk and we look like we are opposition.
Yeah.
But it is because we are talking about the bare truth vile tu iko. For example, tumeshika gazeti hapa hivi. Tumekam kuchambua gazeti, right?
Yes.
Gazeti inaongea kuhusu Stanbic ordered to pay 224 million tax. Why should I talk about something different other than that. Unaona? So sisi ni kudig in tujue hii 224 million tax ilitoka wapi. MPs seek Adani alternative after deal cancellation. Mbona wanaongelea kuhusu Adani alternative? Wow! Wale fisi wenye walikuwa tunyonga sasa ndio wanatuambia enyewe hapo mlikuwa mnaongea ukweli, lakini kuna another alternative. So sisi kiasi nimalize. So sisi bado as Consolata says ndio tunaanza corruption hapa chini. Hiyo Moi uni page 2 ya the standards wanasema alumni ndio wanaongelelea. Why not the students? Si hawako home, si hawako shule na hawako home, wako LD. Wanafaa kila siku wamejaa hiyo barabara.
Wako LD daily.
LD daily. Leo tuko city side ingine. Ikikataa waingie Nakuru, waulize Kihika. As we are still struggling to hikania you and the people of Nakuru. What's wrong? Not alumni coming to kwani wewe hauaffectiwi na hiyo fact that hauendi shule but
so the standing by as corruption happens also a problem.
Tumenyamaza tu ati hizo ni shida za Moi. Na wewe inaku affect. Let me tell you what happens if there is no school in Kenyatta University. Areas around kama zile slums vile waziitwa places like KM, Lower Membli. Kuna kwaga kumeboeka sana. Wame announce strikes. Wanafunzi introverts wote wamejifungia kwa nyumba wako Netflix. So there is no business going on. Si ndio? But kama masomo yanaendelea, wewe unaweza chukua tumarashi twako, uuze 25 bob per ml uko hostel na upate kitu. Ama hapo nje uuze viatu. Hawa wenye wako idle saa hii ndio wanafaa huko wanasema we are demanding for education. According to the Constitution of Kenya 2010, education is not a freedom, it's a right. Basic education is a right. That is why the senators wanaogopa kuendeleza bill ya senator wa Kiambu Karungo Wathang'wa ya kuconsolidate all the bursary funds zieko kwa Ministry of Education, kila mtoto wasome for free, whether wewe ni tajiri ama ni maskini. There should be no discrimination in education. It's high time the youth of this country who are being affected today and who will be affected in the future, juu watoto wao pia hawatasoma juu hakuna places za kusomea. You heard Lucky Dube say that all they build is prisons, not schools.
Yeah.
Mbona tusijiitishie hizo shule? Mbona tusikue better? Corruption yenye iko campus haipitagi 100k. Na yote unatumiaga kukunywa pombe. Kasavera, cause
kuiva.
Kazi yenyu ni kuiva. Then unatoka hapo hivyo ujusha pata tudo, unaingia hiyo Moi, you don't do anything different. You continue with the same thing. Unaendelea hivyo, unakuwa president. You continue with the same thing. 2018 the Daily Nation, the NTV reported the Senate's report ya corruption ya hiyo time that Deputy President William Ruto is the most corrupt politician in Kenya 2018. 2024 unajua nini inaongelewa? That the president of Nigeria Bola Tinubu amebakisha kidogo hivi ashinde Ruto. Sio kwa mambo ya afya, education, ni being the most corrupt politician in Africa.
Consolata, you had something to weigh in there. This is your chance.
I actually wanted to tell him kuna post niliona pahali, sijui whether it is one of the politicians or just somebody on X, and he said that the leaders we have today is a reflection of 90% of Kenyans. When we are talking of war about graft, corruption, huko mashinani, huko chini, kuna watu wanapotea na pesa za neighbor. Unaenda kwa duka, unakopa, ulipi. You know, I feel it starts from the grassroots level. Hata sisi wenyewe tumekuwa corrupt. I know you can tell me that sometimes you tell your kids that ukiperform vizuri
nitakupatia kakitu,
nitakununulia bike.
It's
corruption.
Ushambribe in advance.
Sasa huyo mtoto atakuwa na work hard juu kuna bike. Na kama hiyo bike haiko,
achana na kazi.
Hata fanya kazi. Something else also, let me respond why the comrades in Eldoret, kwa nini hawatokei? Unajua imefika pahali, and as I was telling you, Ruto anatubombard na vitu left, right and center mpaka akili inachoka.
Hiyo ndo niko very worried about actually.
Mara unasikia ni Adani, mara Gachagua, mara sijui abductions, mara sijui ni wapi, mara
anatuchanganya.
Unakuwa umechanganyikiwa, and I feel this is a strategy. Let me tell you, this is a strategy that these people are using
to wear us down mentally.
We get tired mentally, emotionally, we are drained. So hata hao comrades wanaona hata tukitokea nini itafanyika, tukatokea time ya finance bill, sasa kidogo kidogo wanajaribu kuirudisha, wanajaribu, they are trying in their own various ways kurudisha clauses kidogo, and that is why even in the standard they are saying that the MPs are considering regulations that will make farming a tough venture. Imagine
19 bills ndio wanaweka za agriculture.
Imagine. So wanatufanya tukue emotionally drained, mentally,
so that we can't fight
physically.
That.
So we cannot fight. Juu tunaona hata tukitokea hakuna kitu itafanyika.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, and for Joang Mariam as well. It's 9:54 in the morning. It's done. We have a lot we can speak about, the state of the nation and the dailies, but I think at this point what we have already been able to dispense can be an enough of a starter for people to think about the rest of the week and the developments in their world. I want to say that there has been progress which has been made. Kama una feel ni kama hiyo statement umesema we went, someone is feeling tulienda finance bill protest nini, hakuna kitu kili happen. Vitu zili happen. The state of the nation is different now than it was before June 25th. So keep on pressing on. You're confused sana, you mentally weighed down. Consolata, just like 30 seconds. I have one thing that I was requested to have you weigh in on, which is the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which is currently happening all the way to December 10th. It mostly affects women, gender-based violence. Just maybe generally, word of caution, a reaction, maybe a statistic that you know, maybe some anecdote that you can give for 30 seconds for gender-based violence and this activism against gender-based violence. And then that's also a part where you can do your closing remark.
Okay, so I feel it's so sad that kuna statistics zilitokea juzi, and they show the number of women being killed and being killed by who. Surprisingly, the ones who top the list are the husbands, not even unknown people or a stranger. We have the husbands, the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, and then the stranger. I think I would love to caution women, although we cannot justify anything and say that this is the reason for killing. We cannot justify killing women. We cannot justify killing anyone. I feel it's high time for the ladies, especially in campus, because I'm in campus. Hii pesa ndogo ndogo hii, unataka kukula pesa ya mtu, and reality, you know so well that Richard sina kazi yako na kukula tu pesa, lakini at the back of my mind I know mi nataka kukula pesa tu ni kuondoke. I feel that this is an issue we are supposed to look up into, and let us explore other alternative opportunities of getting income.
Okay.
Honestly, as a lady, unakuwa na high chances sana za kupata kazi, hustle. You can decide kupaka watu makeup, kuuza manguo, other than going the other side, eating people's money, and in reality, hauna haja nazo. And also to men, I feel when somebody upsets you, killing is not the solution. Just let them go. When you kill them, you also enslave yourself.
Yeah.
So you kill them, and then in return, wewe unaenda maisha yako yote kwa jela. So now what is the benefit for that? And it's so sad that right now Kenya is focusing on things that are, non-essential, and we are pretending as if kila kitu iko normal. I saw something, I saw Karen Nyamu saying that this should be made a crisis, so that resources may be, funded towards that crisis, and I feel that is true.
Okay.
We cannot continue and pretending that everything is normal, and our women are being killed, our girls are being killed. I mean,
yeah.
Ile utu ilienda wapi?
Good question.
Yeah.
For the rest of the nation. Consolata Wairimu, thank you very much. Francis Washiuri amekupigia shout out. Amesema Consolata Wairimu is a one bright lady. Asante sana for creating time for us this morning. Ojwang, Wewe ni mwenyeji. Saizi 9:58. Fanya ile kitu.
Only.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job. Consolata is
Thank you.
one of the ladies in this country that needs to be nurtured for a great future, so that in future we don't have nominated senators who are
Thank
actual
you.
nyamos. Haijalishi kama wanatoka Kibera
Kama
au
wanatoka-
Karen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
wow.
my submission ya kumaliza.
Yes.
What happens after tumepiga kelele all through the year about Adani? It is one man who stood and said, I have cancelled Adani deals. Who asks hizi bills kwa nini hampitishi? It is still one man. Kenyans should now stop focusing on mambo kama haya ya vita za political za Kenya. Stop attacking people or personalities. Look at the issues. Discuss those issues. Any other thing a politician does, because power is transient, once you get a new president, you can tell that president, si unajua shida zetu zimekuwa gani? Wachana na hiyo. So Kenyans should be asking themselves, who is Okia Omtata and why is he keen on 2027? Busia Senator says he is keen to listen to Kenyans. This country deserves a person who is listening to Kenyans. I am urging everyone to start asking themselves, if it is not Ruto, then who?
Okay.
I hear people crying saying, hey, enyewe kwa Ruto tulichanganywa, but answer haikuwa baba.
Okay.
So that's the question we should be asking now.
Right.
Na sina shida na mtu kupigwa, ati Morara amepigwa. Waekelewe wote kwa meza wapigwe, so that by 2027 tumemaliza kupiga wote and we have one candidate to bail the cards.
Thank you very much, Ojang Mariam, for that final submission. My name is Richard Okenya. This has been Biashara Tuesday. Asante for tuning in from the morning. It's 10 exactly, and the last word on the Business Daily is doubt increases with inaction. Clarity reveals itself in momentum. Growth comes from progress. For all these reasons, begin. That's from Brendan Burchard, high performance coach. And from me to you, today is a quote on black tax. While you struggle to make money, someone else is busy making babies for you to support. Think about it. At Richard Okenye. I'll see you next week.